So hang on for the ride. Hello, Matthew. How are you?
Hey, Derek. Yeah, good. Always a surprise around the corner.
I know, right? Oh, wow. Another fireside chat. The last one for this year, I believe.
It is the last one for 2020.
Yeah.
But they will continue next year.
It's been a complete roller coaster of a year, hasn't it?
It sure has. And all meant to push us to redefine ourselves. That's what's going on.
And I was just thinking about the topic for tonight that you're talking about, the inner child.
Mm-hmm.
And I reckon that there's been a lot of inner children's buttons pushed this year.
Oh, yeah. And Christmas, what's Christmas about? Family.
And I reckon, yes, I'm pretty sure that would push buttons as well for people.
You betcha.
Yeah. We've already had our family, not issues or squabbles, but it's sort of like this, should I go and see Dad? Should I come and see you? Shall I go? No, we're not doing anyway. So maybe you can help us if we are faced with that sort of thing tonight.
Run.
Okay, wonderful. Run.
As fast as your little legs can carry you. Yeah.
Sit on the beach with a kombucha, hey?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, so I will just do a bit of housekeeping and then hop out of your way. And first and foremost, as the topic of conversation is your inner child, and we all have one, and
or two, or three, or six.
Various states of disorganization and happiness. So please do make sure that your family and your loved ones do see this, because it is absolutely, if we can get that inner child, I was going to say under control, but it's actually learning to love that inner child and learning to hug it rather than fight against it. But anyway, you explain that.
I shall.
But you will find that actually makes your life better if your loved ones can deal with their inner children. So it's in your interest to make sure that as many people as possible see this broadcast. And by that, I mean the little arrow that goes that way, just tap on that, and or just yell out into the next room and say, come on in and stick it on the TV and watch it. So that's the first thing. The second thing is we are live on Matthew Greenwood Spiritual Journeys page, as well as mytimetv.live. We are also broadcast out to over 50 channels of TV on demand through the Binge Network syndication program, and we are on other pages as well. But what we'd love for you to do is to come over to Matthew Greenwood Spiritual Journeys page to talk to Matthew directly. So he won't see your comments if you are commenting from anywhere else. So please come over to Matthew Greenwood Spiritual Journeys and you can talk to Matthew directly and ask your questions, because Matthew asks questions. So that's the second thing. Then also, if you do ask a question or make a comment, say hi, let us know you're here, you will get a message from the popped into your messenger inbox. Now, that will automatically register you for a spirit guide reading if you haven't already. So if you've already been part of the Fireside Chats and you've talked to Matthew, you've talked to him through the chat bot, then or through Messenger, then you will be registered and you won't have to do anything, but you will be offered an opportunity to download the Ultimate Grounding Exercise if you haven't got it already. And Matthew will share with you how important that is too. So there is that. And if you haven't, if it's your first time here, welcome. And do remember to follow the bouncy ball once you get the message. Not now, after this is finished, to register for the spirit guide reading, which will be drawn next year for this show. So watch this space. On that note, Matthew is going to announce the winner from the last Fireside Chat, and I'm going to skedaddle.
Bye there. Thanks.
Bye.
Hey guys. Well, last one for the year. Bit exciting. So I'll just say a few hellos first. We've got Rodney saying good evening, Christina, Paul and Kylie, Kat West, and Jackie Crafter. And there's a few familiar names there. And we'll welcome anyone else that's out there. As Adair said, come in if you want to ask me questions. Then come on in onto Matthew Greenwood Spiritual Journeys page, and you can do that. So I'm going to just share with you who won last week's Spirit Guide reading, free Spirit Guide reading. Now, the name, a little bit of confusion with this one. The name that came through was Peace Lily. Now, we believe her name is actually Sarah from her Facebook page. So, but we're having trouble. There's a couple on Facebook that are very similar. So if anyone knows Peace Lily, can you please get her to contact me, contact us, so that we can organise a time. But just if you hear this, then get in contact either through, there's the phone number, 0410658797, or you can contact me on the Facebook page. So that's that. Now, we're going to talk about inner child stuff. So I'm going to go into quite a lot of detail with it tonight and try and give you some help on how to cope with your inner child over Christmas. Because there's going to be, as with every Christmas, there's a lot of challenges. Normally, it's not always a love and light positive time. There can actually be some family stuff go on, and stress, money worries, and which is not what Christmas is actually supposed to be about. But let's see if we can kick into a bit of preparedness rather than going into damage control when it's all happening. So first of all, before we do anything, we're going to do a grounding exercise. So this is one of the big things you are going to need through this time ahead. And this will help keep your energy nice and stable. It'll keep your frequency up higher than it would normally be. And it's going to create a lot more ease in your head as well. It's going to relax your mind the more you do this. So this grounding exercise only needs to take about 5 minutes at most once you've done it a few times. Might take us about 10 because I'm describing it a bit more clearer and a little bit longer, helping everyone to get into it. So here we go. I'll look first up. Just say a few more hellos. Here's Emma. Hey, Emma. Fiona and Jojo. So I haven't seen Jojo before, I don't think. All right, here we go. So just to start with, you can close your eyes and just take some nice, deep, full, long breaths in and out, roughly about 4 seconds for both. So 4 seconds in and 4 seconds out. And if you can, once you let go of the counting part, just make it a nice, long, deep, full breath. It doesn't have to be just 4 seconds. 4 seconds or more, how's that? If you can bring your focus as you're breathing to knowing that what you're doing is actually, you're not just breathing in oxygen. One of the requirements for us to survive in this body is to be taking in life force, nice, clean, healthy energy, either and generally both through the earth and through our sea of consciousness that's all around us, the positive aspect of that. So taking these nice, deep, conscious breaths does exactly that, because this is why the breath is so important in things like martial arts, Tai Chi, Qigong, any sort of energy exercises. Yoga is another one that relies a lot on the breath. Many forms of meditation generally are based around the breath. And this is why, because it helps you to take in nice, clean energy. So now that you're building up that energy within your auric field, remember what your chakras are doing. Chakras are not just these funny looking things that are in different positions in the body. They're actually energy ports that allow life force to feed different aspects of our energy system, including our physical organs, including our emotional, mental, and spiritual levels of our auric field. So this life force is very important. And I'm going to talk more about that in a little while. So just imagine with each breath in that that's what's happening, that life force is coming in, it's feeding each chakra with nice clean energy. That's then feeding aspects of the body, the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual levels. And so now we're going to do something a little bit more purposeful. So taking a nice deep full breath in, taking life force in, and then with the breath out, I'd like you to push that life force down through your body, your base chakra, your legs, your feet, and then down into the earth. So if you can do that for a few breaths, this is level 1 of grounding. This is part 1. So the whole purpose of this is to get your feet or the body connected at a surface level with the earth. But we're going to go a lot deeper in a minute. So just keeping that same cycle of breathing going, deep breaths in, pulling that life force in, then with the breath out, pushing it down through your body, base chakra, legs, feet, into the earth. Okay, from there, now that you've got that, we're going to go deeper. So we have a multitude of chakras down below us. Deepest one that we have is right down at the core of the earth. This is how expansive our energy system is. So with the next breath in, taking a deep one, and then with the breath out, I want you to drive that energy right down to the core of the earth, to your earth chakra. So just to give a little bit of insight into this earth chakra, for those that haven't heard about it before, this chakra is in alignment with the earth's core chakra. So the earth has chakra points all over her, but she has one right down in the middle. And so as you anchor into your earth chakra, your own personal chakra point that's right down there, it naturally engages with the earth's core chakra. And then what happens is anyone else on a spiritual level as you, that's heart connected and wanting the best out of themselves and the best for humanity, you naturally align with all of those people, and suddenly your connection to the earth and to all of these other spiritual people open up. And it's a very clean energy down there. So suddenly your base of connection to the earth is far more expansive. So again, just keep pulling that life force in, driving it down to the core of the earth, to your earth chakra, and then just keep feeding that chakra with life force. And in a few more breaths, it will naturally begin to flow with ease. Okay. So now that you've got that running, let's just let that go, because they're flying on their own resources. They're running naturally now. So we're actually going to step out of the chakra system, and we're going to go to a much higher vibrational level of your energy system. This is called your core star energy, or the God force within you. So when people think of God, they mostly think outside of them, but God is within everything. So we're going right to the deepest aspect of who we are. So imagine diving your awareness into the center of your physical body to start with. And then I want you to dive even deeper, because our energy system is multi-dimensional and it goes far deeper than just the physical. So there's an expansiveness of energy deep inside us. Just keep diving deeper and deeper into your energy system until you see or feel a light or a high vibrational energy source. And then once you find that, what I'd like you to do is to tap into that. And I want you just through intention, begin to expand that light out. Imagine that you can expand that core star energy out to fill your physical body to start with. So, you know, imagination is a very powerful tool. It's a great way to manifest things and to move energy. So imagine that that light, that core star energy light, is touching every cell in your body. And what will happen is it will. And so imagine each cell in your body beginning to vibrate at a high frequency. All right. So as that begins to happen, it will continue to do that. Now allow your energy, that light, to expand out beyond your physical into an area about 4 meters in each direction around you. So 4 meters above you, 4 meters below, to the left and right, front and back. So this big ball of pure white light. And you just keep breathing that life force, that core star energy. Just keep breathing that light into that space everywhere around you. So it's already within you, but now it's expansive around you as well. Now we're not going to stop there. We're going to explode this light out into the fullness of our energy system, which is infinite. So on the count of 3, what I want you to do is let that light explode out in all directions. 1, 2, and 3. Just let it go. Just keep feeling that beautiful, intense light expanding out everywhere. And even not just through space, but imagine it expanding out through time into your future. And you can even set a little intention as you're expanding that out into your future. Let it expand out into the optimum spiritual path that you can take. That's going to give you the best out of life. So when you come to a junction point in your life where you could go one way or another, just feel the energy of what each direction feels like. And that highest vibrational one will be the correct one because you've already sent your light, that core star energy, out through into that path. And then just holding that space. Just for a minute. You can do this as many times as you like through a day. Okay. So now I'm going to get you to come back. So before you don't open your eyes yet, we'll just do it nice and gradually and calmly. So what I'd like you to do now is just bring your awareness back to your breath again. Breathing in that life force once again as you did to start with. And then breathing that life force down through your body, your base chakra, your legs, your feet, and down into the earth. Just allowing that grounding to happen. Don't have to do the earth chakra again. We just want to get your energy back connected to the earth. So there's no need to pull that light in. you can keep that light expansive, because what that's doing, it's keeping the vibration, the frequency of your energy system up higher. And what that will do will help to repel other people's energy. And I'm talking about the issues that empaths generally have about taking on other people's energy. So it helps to keep a stronger boundary around you. And generally it helps also to connect you with more positive people, more higher vibrational people. Very cool. So guys, that's the grounding exercise. That I've stretched it out a little bit just to make it nice and clear, so you really understand what you're doing, what's exactly happening. You're not just taking my word for it. I like people to really get that feeling experience of it. So my suggestions are to do that at least twice a day. This is one of the things that will help keep your energy stable. I give it to a lot of my clients, particularly those I'm mentoring, and this is something that I know because I've put it to the test for myself. I know this works, and it has a great ability to just bring peace and calm into your life. All right, so we've got a couple more. We've got Charlie Bastow and Dorothy. Haven't heard from you for a while, Dorothy. Nice to see you on board. All right, so inner child. I'm sure some people are probably thinking out there, this is a minefield. It can be, trust me. But we're going to do our best not to make it a minefield tonight. So first of all, you know, a lot of people talk about the inner child issue, having an inner child that's out of balance, or an inner child that's sad, or an inner child that needs help. But big question is, how do you know if there's an inner child out of balance? So I wrote down a few examples of what you might be feeling if that's the case. And then what I'm going to do is explain how an inner child is actually manifested in the first place. So you could be feeling tense a lot of the time. And I'm not just talking about now and then, you know, once in a blue moon. I'm talking a lot of the time, particularly when you're around certain people and you react to them. So generally, if there's an inner child issue going on, there's a lot of tenseness in your energy, a lot of reactivity. So you get angry, seemingly without reason, at the drop of a hat. Sadness too. You might just go into a real emotional tears, and quite often becoming reclusive is one of those things that can be if there's an inner child out of balance. Definitely feeling lost and distant, disconnected. Another aspect of it is not being able to have clear thoughts. So just a lot of stuff going on in your head all the time. So constant difficulties in relationships, or even keeping or even finding a relationship that works. Poor communication skills can be a part of that, and of course feeling ungrounded, because well, I'll talk about that in a minute. Generally, if there's an inner child, whenever that inner child is reactive, whenever you're going through that stuff, your base chakra tends to drop out. And the worst part is, from there, you end up going into your head. Things just go round and round in circles, and we all know where that goes. You feel pretty down on yourself, and things just get confusing, and that's what causes reclusiveness and feeling distant and lost. So, so where does this come from? You know, why does it happen? So let me go into a few examples why. One thing is, as abuse causes inner child issues. Now, abuse comes in many forms. It sounds, abuse, when I say that word abuse, it sounds severe, like it's full-on sexual abuse or physical abuse, but it can be emotional, mental, and even spiritual abuse. And it can be anything from, look, from a negative thing that's said repetitively to you, as a child, I'm talking. It can also be anything up to physical and sexual abuse. And look, I've got to say that this is a really underrated issue, because the statistics on physical and sexual abuse is very minimal compared to what the truth is, because a lot of this doesn't come out of the family unit. It's kept held within the family unit and ignored a lot of the time. And sometimes the kids don't even say anything. If that's happened, the kids actually don't say anything because they feel like, and this is a general consensus with most counsellors and even psychologists, is that when negative stuff happens to kids, they believe it's their fault on a whole. And this can be anywhere from, firstborn right up through to in that puberty sort of time. So now that's the more, let's say, purposeful way that abuse occurs. But there are other ways that, and I'll talk in a minute after I've just said this little part. I'll talk what happens, so technically what goes on when an inner child is manifested. But another way that impacts a child really strongly is when, and look, we can all say we're guilty of this one most likely. I don't think there's anyone on the planet that probably hasn't done this at some point. So when you're a parent, you're going through your personal stuff, you get angry or you get sad, there's a lot going on in your head. What's happening when all of that stuff is going on for you personally, and you may not be directing it at anyone in particular, but just the fact that that stuff is going on, frustrations, it could be anything. But what's happening is that energy is being projected out into the space that you live in, and where your kids are. And what can happen is, no matter what the words are, no matter what the thoughts are or the actions are, for us as parents, there's an energy that's always driving every thought, word, or action. And what comes of this is kids, because kids are very sensitive, and they learn from experience, and a lot of their experience is learnt from feeling. Now, thought, action, and words relates to energy. So that whatever the energy is that's driving those three things, action, word, or thoughts, that energy is projected out. So you might be just saying, pick up the Lego blocks on the floor. Now you can say it like that, can you please pick up the Lego blocks on the floor? Or you can get really angry and say it. And you can feel the energy that's behind it. It's quite negative. Now, say that frustration that's in you is there a lot because of whatever the situation is, if it's ongoing at home, then that projection that's coming from the person that's having issues, that is projected out to the kids, and they take this on very easily. They haven't learnt to filter the information that comes in. The auras are very fragile, very open, and so they just take this stuff on, and eventually it builds up and builds up and builds up. And what happens, whether it's that, so more an unconscious way of taking on other people's energy, or it could be, like I said earlier on, the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual abuse, mental abuse. The projection from any of those things affects a child quite strongly. So what will happen is a child will at some point through all of that, we'll only be able to take so much of that, and then something occurs. So the ego has this beautiful protective mechanism which causes shutdown, and it's generally shutdown of the heart being able to feel experiences. So if it doesn't happen very often, then it's obviously not going to be too bad for the child. But if it does happen a lot, then that's going to have quite an accumulative knock-on effect for that child. And so the child is taking on more all the time. Even when that protective mechanism is kicked in, they're still taking the energy on, but they're just not feeling it as much. It just helps them to get through the day, you know. And so what happens when this shutdown occurs is literally whatever age you are, say you're 7 years old. So at that 7-year-old period, when the straw that broke the camel's back kicks into gear, then there literally becomes a separation. So when that shutdown happens, the heart shuts down, energetically, at that age, there's a part of you that basically separates and stops growing, but is retaining a lot of that energy that they've taken on. So then as you grow older through life, there's a wormhole of energy that is where that 7-year-old is. This wormhole of energy is reaching out to you as you grow older. Now, the only way that that wormhole of energy will shut down is if you bring that child into balance with you. So here's where it gets interesting, because there's a few things that occur at this point. So when that wormhole of energy is open, that's when you get reactive. So when all of those things I said earlier on, when anger comes up all of a sudden, sadness or reclusiveness, when any of those things come up just out of the blue, that's because something you've heard, said, smelt even, or you've observed is causing a reaction to something that relates right back to your childhood when that shutdown happened. And this reactivity that you're having, any of those aspects that I talked about, this is linking you back to that separated part of you, not completely separated, but semi-separated part. And so this will continue through life until you bring that inner child into balance. So how do we do that? Well, one of the biggest things is there's a lot, believe me, I know, because I went through quite a lot of inner child therapy when I was young. So I had a lot of stuff happen to me when I was a kid. And this then helped me, well, once I found out about it, then I understood that I had to do something about it, because I didn't want to be a victim to that stuff. I wanted to grow past that. And what I could see was there were a lot of gaps in how to deal with this. So there's a lot of inner child therapy out there that just deals with the emotions, which is lovely, but it still doesn't completely deal with the whole issue. There's some inner child therapy like hypnosis that deals with the mental aspect. And of course, you know, when you've been physically abused, well, that's a whole other issue again. But what is generally missed, and I haven't heard of too many people that do this. I was taught how to do this by, believe it or not, one of my guides. So I've had a very, very conscious connection with guides over the last pretty much 30 years of my life. And I've been given a lot of information, which, believe me, it works. The big thing that's missed is this projected energy that's coming from people around us that causes that impact to the child in the first place. Now, what happens with that is, if we're still carrying that, because it doesn't just come in, dissipate, and then just go off somewhere, it stays locked in our system. So why does it stay locked in that child's system? It's because of something I said earlier on, that the general consensus with most practitioners that work with inner child stuff is that children believe if there's stuff going on in their life that's not nice, they believe that they must deserve it, that it must be their fault that that's happening. With that in mind, with that thought process going on, remember, we're not dealing with a mature adult, we're dealing with a child that's very innocent. And so if a child is thinking that way, then they retain that projected energy because they feel that they deserve that. So what happens is that then gets locked into your energy system. It stays there, and it will continue to cause reaction throughout your life. And it can actually make you quite ill and sick, particularly at certain times in your life. So what you're actually doing is carrying the energy of your parents, or it could be your grandparents, or even siblings, but also of abusers as well. So what this does, obviously, through your life, if you're carrying that energy, this thing that seems to keep happening with a lot of people, that we, particularly in relationships, we tend to attract the same type of people. We tend to attract people that are disconnected or emotionally like our parents might have been, or people that constantly want to manipulate us in our workplace, friends that seem to just change overnight. And it's that easy. It sounds simple, but that's what's going on. So the way to actually clean this up properly is to actually get that projected energy out of your system. And that's the work that I do. So a lot of, probably I would say 80% of the work I do, 75 to 80% of the work I do is helping people to release that energy that's not theirs. We can be carrying an incredible accumulation of other people's energy, which is actually running our life. And a lot of the time, we don't even know who we are because we have so much other people's stuff in our space. We're not in touch with who we are. And if you've taken on a lot through your childhood, you tend to have an ongoing issue through life where you continue to take that on from anyone and everyone around you. So quite often there are not strong enough boundaries either. There aren't defining boundaries. And this is all the stuff I teach when I'm working with people, particularly with people that want to be practitioners. But I teach this to anyone, that particularly around the childhood stuff, where there's been issues there. Now, the other big thing is, people are probably thinking, well, I've got to find that in a child. Well, there can be more than one. Because wherever in your childhood that there was a shutdown, because different things can be happening through your childhood, could be caused by different people even, then if there's been another shutdown at a different age, well, then that will equate to another inner child that's out of balance. Now, the other thing I didn't say was, once we've let go of that energy that belongs to other people, then I take you through a process where you're not just happy and love and light with, I do use that term too much because I mean it in a sarcastic form there. So if you're just doing the helping to deal with that inner child by being all rosy with it and trying to support it, and this isn't actually cleaning it up completely. So I take you through a process right at the end where you embody that inner child back into your energy system. So there is no separation anymore, and there is no wormhole going back to the past, which means for that level of that inner child, there is no reactivity that continues after that. And this is the thing that will really help to change your life. So I can't say how big this is. You know, I've had a lot of people that I've helped over the years, and it is life-changing. So what I'd like to do is, if anyone has any questions, I'd love you to throw some at me. So thanks, Trish. You came up with a question right when I needed it. So Trish is asking, so if you were abused by a parent, could the anger, even hate for them, lead to hating yourself as you are a part of them? Most definitely. Yep. Very much. One of the things I've realized also is you can't force this to come to the surface. Now, a lot of the times we know we've got reactivity going on, but there are many times when we have that reactivity going on so often, we just ignore it, or we just see it as part of who we are, and that there is no other aspect to us, or that this aspect isn't even our truth. So when you feel an inner child reactivity going on, that's the time to actually get help. If you wait till everything's nice and peaceful and calm, you're actually not going to connect with it too well. The time to deal with it is when reactivity is going on, and that way the energy is right up at the surface. That inner child energy is right up at the surface, and that's the best time to deal with it. So, you know, you'll go through life, you'll get one inner child into balance, and then as you start living your life in a better way, and then something else will come along, and more reactivity will come up, and then it's time to deal with another inner child. And this is the sort of way we need to be thinking, because each time that you deal with that inner child energy and you actually embody that inner child energy back on board, which I've got to say is what makes you feel more whole, and literally your soul energy is far stronger, because there isn't any fractures or separation in it. And the bonus is, what comes of that is your abilities begin to get stronger, your spiritual abilities. And this is incredibly powerful. Each time I've gone through, now, this kind of relates what my childhood was like. I had about 13 inner children that I dealt with from in the womb right through to a 16-year-old who was very angry. Every time I burst through a bubble of that energy and cleaned it up, what would happen is my ability to connect with guides got stronger. My ability to see and feel energy got stronger. And it was my intuition got stronger. I began to trust myself more, because a lot of the time we don't trust our intuition because we've pretty much been programmed not to, through life, not to trust yourself. You know, that's just your imagination. It's not real. When you start telling your parents that you see spirits or you're seeing something unusual, it's always minimized. So you then learn that you can't trust your feelings. So this all relates back to the same thing. So the more you actually clean up that energy, the better you feel, and the more connected you feel, more grounded you feel, the clearer you think, and even your physical body begins to look younger. I've got to tell you, it does. So any more questions? I'd love to hear them. Now, what we've got here is one of the biggest things that happens for us is when we get reactive, we get ungrounded. So one of the things that occurs is when that reaction is going on for us, remember any of those things I said, so I'll run them through again. a few new people came in. So when you get angry without reason or seemingly without reason, you get sad, reclusive, feeling lost and distant or disconnected, not having clear thoughts, difficulties in relationships that you're already in, even friendships, not necessarily partner relationships, keeping or even finding relationships that work, poor communication skills, feeling ungrounded. Well, all of those things create a feeling of ungroundedness, which is a feeling of disconnection. Now, that grounding exercise that I did to begin with everyone, now there may be a few people that missed out on that. I won't do it again tonight, but you can go back to this Facebook site, so Matthew Greenwood Spiritual Journeys, and that grounding exercise is there to be played. So I pretty much do a grounding exercise at the beginning of every Fireside Chat. So just keep going back until you find one. It's all pre-recorded, and you can pick up on that grounding exercise separately anyway. So doing that ongoing, what my suggestion would be is to do it at least twice a day. Now, with Christmas coming along, I talked about this a little bit in the beginning. So here we've got a situation where, you're going to put yourself under stress around trying to get the best birthday present, Christmas presents, and then you've got family, you've got to do this, you've got to do that, everyone's got to be happy, but everyone's stressed because everyone's feeling each other's energy. Then don't do what everyone else is doing. Don't be like cattle. Do what you feel is right for you. One of the best things you can do is take a picnic and just go down to the beach. And if some people don't want to go, well, don't do the same old thing every year where you put yourself under stress. Do something different. Have it a really easy Christmas this year, and do things out of character. So that grounding exercise is going to help you to think clearly anyway. But one of the things I would highly suggest, if you are going into the lion's den and having a family Christmas, then make sure you ground your energy before you do go in. And you can do it at any time through that day. Just take yourself off to the toilet and do that grounding exercise again. It will really help to keep the balance within you. So other things you can be doing. Now, we've talked about the negative side of an inner child, but hypothetically, you clean up all of those inner children, now however many you've got, there's actually a positive inner child in there. It's that aspect of you that has the innocence and has that beautiful, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed childlike mentality, like you've just walked into a forest for the first time as a child, and everything is just, wow. This is the sort of thing we want to start to get back to. And I've got to tell you, the more you do that inner child work and you clean up your past, that positive aspect of the inner child is there to enjoy. And this is what we want to be doing. We don't want to be putting ourselves under stress to keep other people happy. What we want to be doing is doing fun things to make everyone happy. So this year, because I'd like to see all you guys a lot happier and just enjoying this break that's coming up. So Trish is asking another question again. So me again, can the teenage ones be the hardest as they are more complex and damaged than the younger ones? Depends on what's happened. But yes, what I find is, if you remember, I said I've connected with, I think it's about 13 inner children. The 16-year-old was probably one of the more difficult ones because he held the anger and the frustration for so long of what had happened through all of those other inner child experiences. And so that was one of the most difficult ones to deal with. So yes, can be, because the you know, in teens, we're going from being this bright-eyed, bushy-tailed little person, being tainted through those early years, and then that stuff just carries and carries and carries into the teenager, and the teenager is trying to be learning to be their own person, you know. So there's a lot of frustration sometimes trying to separate themselves from the family unit if that's where a lot of the negativity came from. Look, I'm not saying every parent is abusive. We don't mean to be, but in our confusion, in our lack of understanding around how to deal with kids and how to keep a calm, peaceful life a lot of the time, because we're on this constant roundabout the society has forced us into, one of competition with other people. Everyone needs the latest Xbox. You know, all the kids need the latest Xbox or the latest this or the latest that. Puts parents under more stress. Parents get ticked off, get angry, frustrated, and you know where it goes. So it's important to, like I said, as this stuff comes to the surface, get some help with it. Don't let it get suppressed again. So Fiona's saying, "Hi Matthew, is there a place where the wounded child resides within the body?" It's not so much within the physical body. What lies within the physical body is the energy that's been projected to you or at you. So the inner child is in your consciousness. It's a separated part of your consciousness. But I take you on a journey where you connect with whatever inner child is wanting to come to the surface and is ready to deal with things. And that's the beauty of this. I don't force a particular age to come up. I let you do that. So it's the unconscious part of you, that little child inside you that is ready to deal with things. So that's what I work with. And I get you seeing that inner child for yourself. And this is where the magic happens, because it's no longer, it's actually a combination of yourself, your inner child, and me guiding you through this whole process. And it's a very empowering process as well. And as it should be too. Just having a magic wand waved over you and telling you that your inner child is all lovely and happy, doesn't work. You need to actually engage with it on a conscious energetic level for it to really work well and be set in concrete. So highly guarantee this type of work. It's very productive. So wow, it's 5 to 8 already. Anything else? So how to stay grounded, that grounding exercise. Like I said, do it at least twice a day. But, you know, if you're going into a situation like Christmas Day, then prepare yourself. Don't wait till you're having to go into damage control. Prepare yourself before you get out of the car, ground your energy. Go through that little grounding exercise. If you're in there and stress levels are getting higher, then take yourself off to the loo and do it again. Walk out for a while. Take yourself for a walk. Anything. But don't keep yourself in that space if it's not working. Remember one big thing. You're probably a lot more sensitive than the people around you. That's why you're feeling the way you are. Because not everyone is as sensitive as there are many different levels of sensitivity within many different people. The ones that seem to feel this the most and feel it the deepest are the more sensitive people. So empaths is the common term for that. But people's sensitivity, if you're listening to this information coming through now, you're obviously very sensitive. So this is the stuff that I know can help you. I've been doing it long enough to see positive results coming from it pretty much all the time. So as long as you follow through with those sort of exercises, then you got to treat this like cleaning your teeth. You know, you should clean your teeth at least once or not twice a day. So that's doing something to look after your teeth. But what do we do to actually look after our energy? Not a lot. There's not a lot of teaching out there on how to maintain your energy. There's a lot of damage control stuff that's out there, but we don't want to be going into damage control. We want to be going into maintenance and support. We want to have those types of systems around us, for us in our life, but not only for us, for our kids and for our family. So once you find something that works for you, you can teach this stuff to the kids. Because if you're sensitive, there's a high probability that your kids are sensitive too. So if you can actually do these exercises and it works for you, well, then you can give these to your kids, and this is going to set them up for life. Trust me. And some of my clients already do this, and it does. Their kids are a lot more easier to deal with, and everyone gets along much better. So, look, on that note, I'd like to thank all of you for being on board tonight. I'd really like to thank everyone for supporting these chats on Thursday nights, the Fireside Chats, every Thursday night, and it's going to continue for next year. And love you to send in any subjects that you'd like me to talk about at any time, and I'd be happy to bring them up next year. And look, I hope you have a wonderful, happy and safe Christmas and safe January, and just look after yourselves. Be kind to yourselves. So safe journeys, guys. Merry Christmas.